Hello. Let's start this video with something different. Oh, hello, Meg. Meg's just brought the ball into play. Yeah, let's start this video off with something different. Let's do a few tick boxes. I'll ask a few questions. You just mentally tick these boxes. Are you new to gardening? Are you gardening at home? Are you growing vegetables? Are you growing vegetables in bags or buckets or pots? Are you strapped for space? Are you strapped for cash? Are you just trying to make ends meet? If you've answered yes to most of my questions and you're starting to turn out your potatoes right now, then this video is for you. Let's pop outside. Here we go, mate. Let's go. So, it's that time of year where we start to take our early potatoes. And of course, when we start taking early potatoes, we start turning out buckets. And when we start turning out buckets, we start getting soil, don't we? This stuff. We start getting soil. And we've got to do something with that soil. We take the potatoes indoors, wash those and eat those, but we definitely need to do something with this soil. I'm going to tell you what I do, and I'm going to suggest that you might want to do the same. Firstly, pop it back in the bucket, or the bag, or the pot. It's got to go somewhere. That keeps it tidy. That's it, tidy. Okay, stand these to one side in the garden, anywhere. And as the months go by, you'll produce more and more buckets full of soil. Now let me show you this soil. Let me go in this one. Let me show you that soil. Hey, that is a drop of good stuff. That is a drop of good stuff. It really is. And it is because I've worked on it over the years. I've been growing in this soil probably for at least a decade. At least a decade. And when I started off growing in these buckets, I had to buy some compost in. I bought some peat and I bought some coir and I bought this, that and the other, and it all got incorporated in with garden soil, and it just gets better and better. And I don't buy anything now to make this soil any better, other than some fertiliser that I may add to it each year. But the soil structure itself, it's absolutely beautiful. So this is what I do, and this is what I suggest you do, right? We put these buckets to one side. Soon enough, spring and summer will be behind us. We'll move into autumn, then we'll move into winter. Not that I'm in any great hurry to do that, but we will. You know it's going to happen. Come autumn, you're going to have lots of these buckets, or bags, or pots with soil in. This is where the maintenance comes in. What we really need to do is cover this soil with an organic mix of chop and drop. Some brown, some green. And the way I do it, I use seaweed and leaves. The leaves are the brown of the mix. The seaweed is the green of the mix. I can do that because I live fairly near the coast. Now already I can hear some people saying, hey, hold on, I can't get my hands on any seaweed. But look, how about grass? Grass is green. You cut your lawn, you'll have some grass. Later on, at the back end of the year, probably when you take the last cut, save that grass. The leaves will be about. There's your brown, there's your green. Mix them up, put a layer across the top of the soil in your bags or in your buckets or in your pots, and that's it. Finito, bonito. Nothing else to do, just leave them outdoors. All the goodness that's in that chop and drop will go into that soil. Whatever's living in that soil will take it in, and the wind and the rain and the winter weather will push it in, and that soil will be even better next year than it is this year. It'll be ready to go again in spring. This is something I've done, as I've said, for 10 years or more, and this is the same soil. This is the same soil that I've been growing in. No more expense on compost, on bags of this and bags of that. You don't need it. If you work with nature, if you let nature work with you, that's how nature does it, doesn't it? Look at a forest floor. It gets no fertiliser. All it gets is the leaves that fall onto the forest floor, and whatever lives on the forest floor recycles it into the soil. Those trees are 100 foot tall, no fertiliser. Okay, so you may want to give that a go. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to suggest you search on smallest compost pile in the world. Search smallest compost pile in the world and you'll see how I do it. Search on smallest compost pile in the world and you'll see how I do it. If you can get seaweed, use seaweed. If you can't, use grass. One little trick of the trade, which gets you your chop and drop mix, is to, if you haven't cut your lawn and you've got some leaves, put the leaves out over the lawn, put the lawnmower across the lot. What's in your grass box? A chop and drop mix of grass and leaves, green and brown. Just take a handful out, put it over, a handful out, put it over. Nothing else to do. That's it. Soil maintenance. Don't worry about what's going on in these buckets, these bags, these pots. And then in the spring of next year, whatever's left on here, we'll incorporate it in, and there'll be precious little. We'll turn this out into a barra. We'll add a slack handful of probably blood, fish and bone, onion fertiliser, leek fertiliser, potato fertiliser, whatever we grow in, a slack handful of something in there just to fire it up, spark it up. It'll be back into production again, it'll be back into the bag, back into the pot, back into the bucket. We're up and running again. Okay, watch those videos and be inspired. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out. I'm going to tidy this lot up. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I'm going to sit on this seat and I'm going to throw this ball for Meg. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out. It's your turn now, Meg. Your turn now.